Let's get ready to rumble!
Editor Chris Dixon, I really see nothing this week. He's talking about James Cracknell, who's an Olympic rower. I don't know if he won it, and he probably won gold. But he took part in a charity boxing match and he got sparked the fuck out. And he's talking about Freddie Flintoff, who is an English cricket player. He's going to make his professional debut later on this month. And a few people are debating whether it's good or not that these celebrities are dabbling in boxing and treating it like a joke, which it is not. It's not the kind of sport that you can just fuck about with like that, you know. There's no doubt about that. But Cracknell got sparked out. Anyway, it's apparently on YouTube. James Cracknell, Olympic rower. You'll probably, if you just type in a few buzzwords, James Cracknell, Olympic rower gets knocked out, or James Cracknell, boxing, you'll probably see why I go on there. So, Bob Me is talking about the WBC. We be crooks. That's the acronym that I often hear. I mean, he's talking about the WBC silver belt. Apparently, for approving a WBC belt in conjunction with a sanction fee, it's $5,000 US, which is 3,126 British pound notes. On top of that, each boxer has to stump up $750. The belt itself cost $2,000. This is dollars here. I mean, this is not. He's got it translated in pound notes, but you guys can do all that mathematics. And a further $1,500 is charged for boxers' hospitalization and life insurance. This is an unnecessary expense for a British promoter because the Board of Control has its own policy to cover that, and that's paid for out of the annual license fee. The WBC demands that its supervisor is granted in Europe €350 or £279.79, that is in translation in incidental expenses, usually for 2 days to cover the weigh-in and fight day. On top of that, you get flights, hotels, transport. All of this is provided by the promoter. The supervisor may or not claim this, but it is in hers or his right to do so. Damn. The fee for referees and judges is £559.58, according to the WBC, making its total outlay, not including travel and accommodation for the officials, of £8,770.11. All of that, apart from the fees and expenses covering the officials, has to be paid into the WBC bank account 15 days in advance. If a promoter clears £35 out of a ticket that's worth $50, given VAT and other deductions, and that might well be an overestimate, then not taking into account hotels and flights, he needs to sell 250 tickets at £50 in order to pay for the cost of this quasi-championship. That's Bob Me taking a little dig there. Promoters are willing to stump up for this kind of nonsense. The WBC drew sanction fees from 458 contests in 2011, and the sums aren't hard to do. I think people should do what Barrera done years back and say, fuck the belts, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I've designed a little belt that the YouTube boxing community, if any fighters want to take that up, they're welcome, you know what I mean? Like, when I get round my friend's house, he's going to do a little graphic design on that belt and make it look sharp. And that's going to be my logo. I don't give a shit. You don't have to pay us no sanctioning fee. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that shit. Everybody I do a belt, we count our belt too, innit? Fuck that. No doubt we'll soon hear how the $1 million sum that was raised in a Las Vegas fundraiser staged by the WBC and a company named Hubler will be spent. The event was in aid of the WBC pension fund, designed to help ex-fighters who are down on their luck. The WBC made much of its contribution, and deservedly they get their props for that. While joining in the praise, I said it was vital that we hear from the WBC where the money goes. So far, we have heard nothing. It takes time to help the needy. Time when the $1 million sum is accumulating interest in a bank account, and time when the poor stay poor and the sick stay sick. What is the main reason for Ricky Hatton's comeback is what we're asked in the panel. Paulie Malignaggi says personal redemption. He cites that Ricky's gone through a lot of mental anguish. Sometimes training and boxing can help you overcome these types of problems. Dave Caldwell, a promoter, manager, and trainer, he says Ricky has unfinished business and he won't want to be remembered for being stretched out against Manny Pacquiao. Ryan Rose says he wants to lay his demons down, and like Dave Caldwell, he says Ricky won't want to be remembered for the Pacquiao loss and the style that he lost in. Glenn Johnson, he says Ricky wants to give it another good run before retiring for good. And he says Ricky's probably really bored, because that's 3 years he's been retired, so, he's probably missing the limelight. Has Carl Froch wrecked Lucian Bute? Paulie Malignaggi says it's possible. But don't forget that Denis Grachev put in a very good performance and he needs to be given some credit. That's very true. Dave Caldwell, he says 100%. He doesn't think that Bute is physically shot, but he's mentally shot. Glenn Johnson says he's not sure about that. He says he's seen Lucian struggle a few times before he fought Froch, and he also talks about how Lucian was lucky to survive against Andrade in 2008. He was very lucky. Ryan Rhodes, it's too soon to answer after a devastating defeat. He says normally in a comeback after such a devastating loss, you have to gauge the second fight in the comeback to really get a good read on it. What is the main reason for Ricky Hatton's comeback, in your opinion?
I think redemption. He didn't like, There's a lot of factors in his life. Maybe he feel like he stopped too early, and that's all he knows is boxing. He misses the sport. I think the main thing for Ricky is this, He didn't like the way he went out, man. It wasn't him. He's never known to just lay down, and he's just coming back to prove himself, prove the critics, prove himself, and rectify things in his life. That's what he feels like. Whether he achieves that's another thing, but redemption. The main word would say redemption and everything. His life, his boxing career, everything. And he's not picking an easy opponent to come back against as well. So it's not like he's coming back and he's going to get a canned tomato. He's going against a guy who was formerly a champion and a formerly undefeated champion. So you've got to give him props on that, man. Yeah. Whether he achieves it is another thing. And then he's got another master after that where he becomes the #1 contender for Paulie Malignaggi, which he's already beat Paulie Malignaggi. So he puts him right back in the race, right back where he was before. Okay. I think maybe if he beats Paulie Malignaggi, he might look to retire at that point. Because after that point, just to show everyone, he's done it, and that's it.
That he's still got it.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's his desire. That's it, man.
Has Carl Froch wrecked Lucian Bute?
Yeah, definitely. That guy, he shouldn't even look for Carl Froch, mate. His career is See, the thing is, after that sort of defeat, yeah, where do you go? You come back against a guy you're expected to beat handily, you struggle. And now you're looking, and people had you up there without actually fighting any top #1 live opponents. Yeah, people had you so highly ranked. That's the hype media, and now you've been exposed. Now, you know what I mean? Like you have to go through Carl Froch the redemption, but I don't think it'll beat him. I think Carl Froch will beat him even quicker.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
You're lucky if you get out the first round, mate.
Okay, we go to the letters. The letter of the week is from Chris Ogden, who was singing the praises of Paulie Malignaggi. after his closely ran contest against Kano, where he got from the floor. And Chris Ogden is talking about how Paulie survived all the low shots and how the commentators didn't pick up on it. I wonder what telecast he's talking about. Somebody named David Page has wrote a letter called Rooting for Ricky. He's wishing Ricky Hatton the best on his comeback. But nevertheless, he's remembering Lloyd Honeyghan being stopped in one of his last contests by a journeyman on the undercard of a televised show. Robin Reed, who was stopped recently by Kenny Anderson. And how Enzo Macronelli has struggled in recent times. And he is saying that Ricky will not be able to beat one particular formidable opponent, and that is age. Alistair Jenkins is remembering Manny Stewart and some of the great fighters who came through the Kronk Gym to become champions. Hill McKenty, Thomas Hearns, Jimmy Paul, Dwayne Thomas, and Britain's own Lennox Lewis. I remember Jimmy Paul, man, the lightweight champion. He had some heavy hands and a very solid jab, man. Them's were the days. Dave Bourne is talking about drugs and, you know what I mean, the PED shit, you know what I mean, just how they need to do something before someone's serious. Nothing that we ain't heard. The letter for me of the week was from Mark John. He was talking about Amir Khan needs to really stop begging Danny Garcia for a rematch, especially after seeing how Danny Garcia disposed of Eric Morales. And I've got to agree with that because, yes, Morales was old, but nevertheless, you know, you can see, look, he doesn't, Danny Garcia doesn't need to fight the best fighter in the world to see that the guy has a sledgehammer in his left hand. And it's always going to be a potential problem for somebody like Amir Khan. And that's just how it is. Somebody named Lee Kellett is bigging up Jamie Moore, who once beat Matthew Macklin in great style, in a great fight, actually. You know, he's bigging up Jamie for attending a children's charity event and helping out. On the tweets, we have Tony Bellew, who is impressed with Larry Akendayo after winning the prize fighter. As you know, we recently interviewed Larry after winning the prize fighter. Anthony Ogogo, who was an Olympian, he's bigging up Larry as well. He's saying he can fight very well. Valiant performance from Carruthers, who lost to Larry in the final. And that Spencer Fearon, who is Larry's manager, has a star in the making, and I'd agree with that. At Frankie Gavin, who is a happy man right now, he's rejoicing in the fact that his kids will be able to remember him as a British champion, if anything less or more. At Hit Manhattan, run down. Wow, mornings are getting cold now. Set off before and fell over a fucking penguin. Ricky Hatton has noticed a drop in the temperature recently. Before I carry on the tweets, there's a picture of Ricky Hatton on the cover. And while he's looking trained up and he's not looking fat, I'm just going to go out on a limb. You can see the years of the yo-yo dieting, the drinking, the drugs, and he looks old. His face looks old. Ricky looks old. I have a feeling, I don't know. I'm not predicting anything big for Ricky's comeback. At Amir Khan, he says he didn't say Freddie Roach was a bad trainer, and he's giving Freddie credit as he guided Amir to winning 2 titles. He says he blames himself for the 2 losses. It's just I needed a change. Or he needed a change. Curtis Woodhouse, former professional footballer, now the English champion. He's on a nice early morning run to blow the cobwebs out, and he says Monday, bloody Monday. We go to the hit and the miss section. At number 1, we have Larry Ekendayu, who won the prize fighter contest, and we interviewed Larry in the week, and Larry is a very skillful boxer who has a lot of potential, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he does in 2013. At number 2, we have Frankie Gavin, who came through his most awkward test of his career against Junior Witter and became the British champion. And look, I'm going to have to step down off my perch a little. I did give Frankie a bit of stick for his performance. I didn't think it was that impressive. But damn, man, if Junior Witter wants to fight ugly, gosh, man. I mean, he reminds me of that Bubba Sparks tune years back. Ugly! At number 3 in the hit section is Ryan Clark. The Lincolnshire journeyman is on a roll, stopping Jamie Bonnes in 69 seconds for his 3rd consecutive inside the distance victory. At number 4 is Firat Arslan, who was controversially done out of a decision in the opinions of many against Marco Huck. I'm still yet to see the fight. In the midsection, we have Junior Witter after his disappointing performance against Frankie Gavin. We have Pongsalak Wongoncham, who was a long-term world flyweight champion. He was shockingly stopped by a fighter with a not very good record, apparently. And at number 2, we have Tomas Roas, a former Mexican champion who may have reached the end of the road after being badly KO'd in Japan. At number 1, we have Mr. Fury, who right at this moment doesn't seem to have an opponent as Dennis Boystoff has pulled out, and we'll see the further developments, what happens there.
The count starts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it.
The 10 count this week is memorable ring walks. Matt Christie goes through 10 of the most memorable ring entrances or ring walks that he can remember. And at number 1 is Mike Tyson. The sight of a barely dressed Mike Tyson stretching his neck, staring demonically, is undoubtedly an unsettling experience if you're the man he's facing. Just look at the expression on Michael Spinks's face just before Tyson starched him in 91 seconds in 1988. This is evidence that a fight can be lost before it's even began. Number 2, Muhammad Ali. The atmosphere was unforgettable. African music booming all around the stadium. Ali cruised towards the battle, a huge contrast to the sprint that Foreman subsequently employed to get to the ring. At number 3 is Oscar De La Hoya. Focused on destruction like never before, Oscar would live up to the medley of We Will Rock You, Another One Bites the Dust, and James Brown's Payback that accompanied his 2002 march towards his bitter rival Fernando Vargas. At number 4 is Chris Eubanks. Combine the stare, the swagger, the pout, the outstretched nostrils, the posturing, the song, the vault over the ropes, and you've got the perfect prelude to a Saturday night's entertainment during a golden era for British boxing. At number 5 is Michael Katsidis. It sent shivers down the spine when the chiseled Katsidis and his Spartan helmet burrowed through a hostile Upton Park crowd to music that sounded like it had been composed in a torture chamber. Kevin Mitchell didn't last 3 rounds. At number 6 is Vitaly Klitschko. Both Vitaly and his brother Vladimir know how to make an entrance. Bells tolling, fireworks, stadium rock music, and messages of impending victory on big screens set the fans' hearts racing and left their opponents wondering what they have let themselves in for. At number 7 is Nassim Hamed. Who can forget his Halloween dance towards Wayne McCullough, or his 7-minute jig prior to beating Kevin Kelly, who was so frustrated by the whole spectacle that it looked like he was almost going to thump Hamed at one point before Hamed somersaulted into the ring. At number 8 is Monty Barrett, When Ring Entrances Go Bad, Part 1. The American heavyweight was psyched up when he attempted to jump over the ring ropes prior to his fight with David Haye. He caught his foot on the top rope and ended up in a heap on the canvas. At number 9, Floyd Mayweather Jr., a picture of determination in a lavish leather robe. Mayweather strutted towards his castle to the strains of Born in the USA, as the pro-Ricky Hatton Las Vegas crowd became increasingly incensed. At number 10 is Usman Ahmed, When ring entrances go bad, part 2. Ahmed's outrageous waltz into the ring, like an intoxicated 5-year-old at his own party, was quickly followed by Ashley Sexton knocking him out cold after 2 minutes. The readers' poll. Would Lucien Bute have any chance of beating Carl Froch in a rematch?
The readers' poll are asking, would Lucien Bute have any chance of beating Carl Froch in a rematch?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Well,
It depends what Carl Froch turns up. It's not about Lucien Bute right now. It's about what Carl Froch. If Carl Froch wants to be generous, he might let it ride him a couple of rounds. If Carl Froch said, these Canadian fans are getting on my nerves, I'm gonna take it out on Booty and get him out in the first round. Because Booty needs to understand that any punch he threw on Carl Froch had no effect. And so for someone like Carl, who's not deterrent from your punches, you're in trouble.
right, well, 63% of the votes say that he's got no chance.
Yep.
25% say not yet, and 12% say yes. Carl Bridges, Leon Webster, Neil Murdoch, and Adrian P. Pierce, all of them don't think he's got a chance of.
No way. No, not a shot, mate.
Holyfield, he's coming back to the ring, and I think he auctioned off his belts, but he wants them back now. This guy's in a state of confusion, wouldn't you say?
Well,
Or turmoil.
definitely, man. I mean, whether it was his decision to, obviously it was his decision to get rid of the belts, but you know, some of the boxers we've talked to about their British title, they would never give that up. You know what I mean? And now you gave up all your belts and stuff like that. It's like you I definitely a state of confusion. Definitely a state of confusion. So
Yep.
it's quite sad to hear. But you could probably buy them back at some point. But to let women and just the way his career is, how he's ending up is hard, man.
Yeah, some was saying he made 150 million in his career. I mean, was it Ian Napper saying it? I think.
Yeah,
100
Ian Apper said that.
$150 million dollars.
Yeah, and it's because he's there banging every chick.
Yeah,
left, right,
he was
center.
running through everything apparently, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course that would do to you. You know what I mean? You just living like a, you know. So the thing is about some of these boxers and them things there. They don't really go through the stepping stones of life of how to what pose to do. There's no guidelines. I mean, the only guidelines you can do is look at other past boxers. But you're so caught up in your own thing, you're not looking at no one else and seeing how other people ended up. Well, really, you really should. And look at other boxers and how they end up and try to be, you know, smart with your money, pick the right people around you. You know what I mean? Keep people accustomed. But obviously with Holyfield, you know what I mean? You're like a rock star or something, you know?
Yeah.
Just there living in the moment, and now everything's there. No one even cares. And now you haven't got the ability to even go back in the ring and get that back either. Your name can't even... His name could sell still, but it wouldn't sell in a majority because the man's probably used to spending big as well.
The WBA have upgraded Brian McGee from the interim to regular super middleweight champion ahead of his clash with Miguel Kessler.
So what is he? Is he what? Brad McGee's what? Is he the champion?
No, he's not. They haven't
Yes.
actually fought. Yeah, I mean.
But Brad McGee's gonna get rolled over, innit? He's just there to get rolled over, innit? He's gonna get put on his head, innit? So it's a big achievement for Brad McGee getting those opportunities. Yeah, late. Shame he didn't get them earlier in his career.
Yeah.
But
It seems
the
strange.
belt. Going back to the belts. They lost value. They're losing value.
Yeah, they just seem to make their own decisions every week of what they're doing. Like, it just seems one weird one after the other.
Yeah.
James Toney has asked for the chance to take on South Fury in Belfast on December the 1st after Dennis Boystoff declared himself unfit to do battle with the former British heavyweight champion.
Well, yeah. If Jones Toney thinks he can get in there and do something, let him. I mean, on his last performance against Dennis Lebriar, it's terrible. He did nothing. So he needs the payday. I think they might. Obviously, Channel 5 paying decent money. Why not? It's another name. It's easy. It's not too hard fight. I don't see James Toney doing anything to him. I mean, if James Toney hurt his potential the Hall of Fame, you could say he might be. But you know what I mean?
I don't think he's doing that. I just don't think he's going to do anything in that match.
Nah, he's not going to win the fight. Nah, but if he wants to, if he's up for it and Thing wants to have another name on his list, a former WBA heavyweight champion, then so be it, innit? I don't, you know what I mean? It's sad it's come to that, but they want to. If they want that, we're gonna. I tell you what, mate. Before the fight, James Toney's his mouth is gonna rip off on him though. He's gonna abuse him a bit.
Yep.
But he just wants to try and get into the picture. Anyhow, James Toney's he must be desperate. He's another one. He's another one dying for money, innit?
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, living on the glory days, and I mean, hasn't got that bread when he was IBF middleweight champion and super middle and whatever.
Management. Yeah,
Past
yeah.
days.
It was alright when he was with Jackie Collins, man. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just there. He was probably getting looked after well then.
Them days
Maybe.
are gone. Them days are gone now. Tony Bellew is targeting a shot at WBC light heavyweight champion Chad Dawson if he gets past Roberto Bellante in Nottingham on November the 17th. What do you reckon about that?
Tony Bellew versus who?
He's targeting Chad Dawson if he gets past Roberto Bellante in Nottingham.
He's got a good chance. Chad after his last defeat. I don't know what Chad's mindset is. Yeah, that's a good fight. It'd be catching Chad at the right fight at the right time. I don't even know when Chad ain't even got on a fight lined up.
Could be interesting.
He still hasn't recovered from his last beating. I mean, he weight drained and got beaten up, and he made himself quit. So Tony Bellew was catching him at the right time. See a man quitting.
Could be.
Yeah, see a man quitting. So it's a big good fight.
Former world heavyweight and cruiserweight champion David Hayes heading out into I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here on November the 11th. Just bullshit, yeah?
He won't last that long in there, mate. A couple of days and he's out,
in the
bro.
jungle, yeah?
Pretty boy ain't gonna stay there that long, mate. I'll be lucky if he lasts the week out, mate. There's no way he's going out there. The thing is, David Hay, he's enjoying it. He just beat Jarrett Chisora. He's riding a nice, comfortable wave. Why not? You know what I mean? Go out there and give the British public another chance to see him and open up a new fan base. Why not? Why not? It's not a bad move, but I don't think he'll stay there that long, mate.
You don't reckon, huh?
I bet we could have. I should have got odds to see how long he's.
Yeah, they probably got odds. They probably have got odds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh dear.
Remember Jamie Moore? He beat Matthew Macklin a few years back.
Yeah.
He's deciding to stay retired instead of coming back. Good idea?
Yeah, for him, he's a decent fighter. He never really got hurt anything like that, and it's a hard business. Either way, it wouldn't really affect. He's still, he's still quite young. He's not, he's still quite young. He never got bashed up, but I guess for him, he's thinking, I don't really need it. I mean, he's doing all right with his TV interviews. Sky's employed him, and he's doing all right. He's doing all right with himself. We don't really need to fight. Fighting's a serious, hard business. You need to be 100% committed. And he's got a lot of things going on in his life, right? Earn a little bit of money here and there, doing this and that for Sky Sports. So maybe he doesn't need it.
The future of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and rapper 50 Cent's promotional venture, The Money Team, is in jeopardy after the pair fell out on the social networking media called Twitter. 50 Cent alleged that Mayweather had failed to stump up his half of the money, and he now intends to break into boxing alone with his SMS promotions. However, since then, 50 Cent has claimed that the cyber bickering was all staged and that Floyd is like a brother to me. It would seem, though, that they will not work together. Keith Kaiser, executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, said in September that he received an email from 50 Cent's team insisting that Mayweather would not be part of the promotional venture. 50 Cent's SMS Promotions is likely to meet approval at a hearing in mid-November. He intends to promote Yokuris Gamboa, who takes on Miguel Beltran, Billy Dibb, who fights Jason Velez, and Andre Dirrell, who will be on the undercard. So, anything to add to already what's been said on that?
Nah, not really, man. That's especially that's there it is, isn't it? That's how it is.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, that whole 50 Cent thing. It's just, Floyd's not easy. I mean, all right as a friend, but being a business partner of him, even no one could be a business partner with Floyd or anything. The only person he trusts is Al Heyman, people who's been around him for numerous years. He don't even trust his best friend.
The embarrassing story of Nathan Cleverly. This is my headline. Carries on. Sean Hank, widely outscored by untested Elilda Alvarez. Sean Hank will challenge WBO
light heavyweight champion Nathan Cleverly on Saturday night at the Los Angeles Staples Center. The 28-year-old is a surprising choice to replace Ryan Coyne, who missed out because of a contractual dispute with Don King, considering he has not beaten a world-class opponent in his 8-year career. Would you? It's just the guy's been outscored by an untested fighter, and now he's getting a world title shot cleverly. It's just going bad to worse for Nathan.
Sorry, who's he going against?
Sean Hank. He was
the Irish guy.
No, no. Ryan Coyne is out of the picture because of a contractual dispute with Don King, and Sean Hank was outscored by an untested boxer just in June, right? And now he's getting a shot at Nathan Cleverly.
Yeah, but boy, I guess that's the most valuable the opponent they could fill in that spot, isn't it? It's nothing. Is obviously they wanted that fight. Nathan's wanted a lot of fights, but for some reason they're not happening. Can't blame Nathan. At least we're getting a fight, and at least America get a chance to see Nathan. Obviously, he's going to roll him over, and he expected to roll over the other guy. So, what can you do?
Yeah, we can't blame Nathan. We can blame Frank Warren. We can blame somebody, surely.
Nah, no, not well. Look, if we're going to blame, you might as well blame Don King then.
Why? Because was Ryan Coyne any good?
He's undefeated. It was going to be a good challenge.
So,
and he was getting fight for world title.
So?
What do you mean?
He's undefeated. What does that mean?
So who else could Nathan Cleverly fight?
What? There's no one stronger in the top 10. What? If I go to the Ring Magazine ratings now.
Yeah, go
on.
And
go to the light heavyweight page. If I can't find a stronger challenge for him, right?
Now you're gonna find a stronger challenge, but who's available? That's what it comes down to. Who's available for that date?
Okay, who's available?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Who could possibly be available? Let's have a look.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what's there. And if he's not available, if they're not available to be fight, then obviously he's making his American debut. He's gonna roll this guy over, and then obviously gonna stay in America and try and find someone else. He wants to fight Hopkins. He wants to fight these big fights, but they're not available. For some reason, they're not blaming no one. And lucky we're getting a chance. The American people are getting a chance to see him. That's what I'd have to say about that.
Well, all right. Let's rule out Chad Dawson. Let's rule out Hopkins, Tavoris Cloud. Let's rule out them three now. All right. What about Gabriel Campillo? What about Beibut Shumanov? What about Murat? I don't know this guy from Malawi. He isn't a big name. So, okay, fair enough. They don't want to go that route. I understand that. Kessler's going to obviously be busy. I don't know why he's rated in the light middleweight and he's fighting for the super middleweight title.
But he moved up, innit?
No, but he's fighting Brian McGee for the super middleweight, isn't he?
When he fought when he fought up against Brian Green, it was at this weight. It was at this weight. It was at cruiserweight. He won the cruiserweight.
Kessler ain't fought a cruiserweight.
Yeah, he did. In his last fight, he fought cruiserweight when he beat up Thingy Green.
Alan Green, that was at cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at cruiserweight. Both of them moved up. That's where they got him in the ranking.
He's fighting at super middleweight now.
Yeah, I know.
So
he's moved back down for this wing.
So why is he still ranked in the light heavyweight division if he's fighting?
He won a belt in this. He won a belt and he won the diamond belt in that division.
What, in the light heavyweight?
Yeah, in the cruiserweight.
Yeah, but he's not ranked in the cruiserweight.
Sorry, not the cruiserweight, light heavyweight.
Right,
yeah,
he fought Alan Green at light heavyweight.
Pardon?
He fought Alan Green at light heavyweight.
Yeah, and he won a belt. He won a belt in that division.
What belt did he win?
The silver belt, WBC silver belt.
Okay. What about the guy that Cleverly was supposed to fight a year or so before, Jürgen Bremer? Why isn't he bringing that guy back?
Frank Warren and as they pull it in, them guys didn't want it. They pulled out the fight. They pulled out the fight. Certain people, I don't know what's happened with Nathan. It's just bad luck after bad luck. I'm not here to say jump on board. It is what it is. But the thing is, yeah, the guy wants big fights. You could look Frank Warren, being with Frank Warren, I don't know, maybe things are not getting done, yeah, but end of the day, he's making an American debut. The opponent he was going to get is a credible opponent, and obviously, you already said it, contract disputes with Don King. That's why that fight wouldn't happen. Would have been a good fight. And now they filled the void. They put any old guy in there because they're panicking. Look, they needed someone in there. They filled someone at short notice. He's got in a fight, and maybe obviously if he rolls off this guy quickly, hopefully he can stay in America and get another fight. The fact that he's in America's shores now and he wants the big fights. I'm just going to see.
So would you agree with me on this? Okay, we'll allow him this patty cake that he's fighting. We'll allow him this one. Then, if he isn't fighting somebody significant in the next fight, then shouldn't we be gunning?
Of course,
his title reign?
Listen, He's been inactive, yeah, right? Since Bellew, yeah, he hasn't fought anyone. Since Bellew, he hasn't fought anyone. He hasn't fought since Bellew, and for whatever reason, he's been injured or whatever reason, he hasn't fought anyone. They wanted the big fights, yeah, but for some reason, they're not pulled off. Obviously, you should criticize the champion, yeah, for fighting guys that not worthy of you fighting. But what can you do? A short notice. I mean, look, to be honest with you, right? Now he's in America. He's fighting on Showtime, right? Showtime will make Frank Warren them, but make them have the big fights, and that's what he's trying to do. So I think his next fight will be a big fight. Okay. They have to look. They're in the Showtime. They've got quite a lot. They got Bernard Hopkins over there. They've got quite a lot of fights. They're probably gonna make that fight next.
Oh, they got to do something big next. You know what I mean? They've got to do something big now.
Yeah, that will happen.
So,
That'll happen. That's why he's gone there. So he's made the move. He's not like sat down and said, I'm just going to fight in England and just fight anyone. He said, nah, I'm going to go to America. He wants to fight that Irish guy, obviously because of that contract dispute. So he's making moves in. I'm not down. I'm not going on Nathan Cleverly yet. I'm not just jumping on the board and getting all angry with him yet. Just leaving it out. I'll give him a bly.
Okay. Well, we've already done Kirkland Lang. We know that he's still alive. We've done a video about a tribute video about his fight with Roberto Duran. We'll leave a link in the box for Ono. But check this one. Okay. Basingstoke. Remember Dean Francis?
Yeah.
He's set to make a comeback on December the 1st in a 10-round clash against Justin Hugh, who is an unbeaten Welsh fighter from Newport. The former British super middleweight and light heavy boss hasn't fought since being knocked out in a round by John Keaton in the 2009 prizefighter tournament. Damn, Dean Francis got knocked out by John Keaton. Since he injured his arm, his shoulder really badly. Like, I don't advocate for fighters to retire, but if your shoulder, I can visibly see you can't use your arm. What is the point of you carrying on? So I don't know if he's recovered from this shoulder injury, but I don't know. And he was quite a good fighter in his day. He was quite a good fighter, but we'll see.
How old is he?
I'm not sure how old he is, He's probably in his 30s, probably.
Guy coming back feel like he's on his shoulder and he feel like he's missed out a couple of years and he still feels he can do it. Let's see how it goes.
He had a severe shoulder injury, right?
Yeah.
And it's very unlikely it's improved.
Yeah, well, he gave it time out and he wants to test it. It's like anyone, a basketball player, when they mess up their knee or they do their finger or injury and they're out for a numerous amount of times, you don't just stop, you know what I mean? You want to go back in and you want to try it. So we'll see what happens, innit? Okay. Whether he's gonna be 100%, we'll find out. So he obviously feels he is, or getting there. So we have to see in it.
Yeah, we'll have to see on this fight here. Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this boxer. His name is Danny Gerard. A boxer from Matby has been charged with the murder of Robert Hurdley, who was killed in October. So I don't know if anybody knows about that shit there. That's just madness. ESPN will air Vladimir Klitschko's title defense against Mario Wack in a Saturday night broadcast in the UK. I don't know. Do you know anything about this Wack guy?
Nah, man. I never heard of that guy. No, sir.
I just know he's tall. And he's got a massive jaw. That's all I know. Robert Guerrero is talking about fighting Floyd Mayweather after he defeats, or he hopes to defeat, Andre Berto.
Floyd don't need Robert Guerrero. Robert Guerrero needs Floyd. And Floyd, if I was, it's not like that's not a must. Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Pacquiao, and then Floyd. There's nothing else out there. Simple as that. That's what's happening. Guerrero needs to talk himself into other fights out there. There's a Broner fight. He talked up, which is if Broner gets past DeMarco, that's a good fight for him, and that will establish him. Like, you can make your own name. You don't need Floyd to make a name now. Now you're in the picture now. You're fighting Berto. If you beat Berto, your name's there. If you go against Broner, your name's there. You know what I mean? You don't need Floyd at that point. Yeah, so you need to look in front of you. You need to do what's in front of you, and going against Berto, that's not no walk in the park.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't want to sleep on the Berto match.
We don't know what Berto's turning up. Berto's got a point to prove.
Yeah, definitely. Glenn Johnson says he missed boxing. I felt like there was still things I could do in the sport. It's a good opportunity for him. He's talking about the Groves fight. After 4 previous appearances on British soil, he is looking forward to returning back to the UK next month.
despite the fact he will once again be the away fighter. He says he loves the British fans. They appreciate good boxing. And he says, Groves seems like a pretty good fighter, but I want to come to the UK and show what I can do. At the end of the day, you've just got to fight. If you're the better boxer on the night, hopefully the judges will recognize that and do the right thing and will reward you with the win.
Well, end of the day, yeah, he's come back and like maybe he feels like he's still like again. What does a boxer do? He doesn't want to switch off. He's still in great shape. It was get Proctor. His last fight was at Proctor in ESPN, and you know, like even though he lost the fight and that, maybe he knows he's not a world contender, and he still likes fighting. I mean, why not? Why not? He doesn't really get hurt. I mean, he might get hurt in this fight. If he wins this fight, it's all right. So the Road Warrior, it's good for a minute. We see what happens there.
And he seems sharp. I don't hear the slightest slur out of his.
Nah. He's not. He don't slur or nothing like that. But he's a hard man. You know, he trains very, very hard at his age. He's very useful. He has a. Know what I mean? It's a shame that you know, he's still fighting on. But we'll see what happens. Then we'll see what happens. Even if he wins this fight, he could retire. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. He must be getting a decent payday.
But you still haven't answered.
Pardon?
You still haven't answered the question. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're ducking it. Do you give him a shot? Do you give him a shot against Groves?
What? Do I give him a shot against Groves?
Yeah.
I don't give him a shot against Groves. I think Groves too quick for him. Groves too quick when he hits Groves too quick. He hits hard, man.
Yeah.
Hits too hard.
So
Yeah, like
Groves?
he'll be able to keep on the outside. You can go chase him down.
Knockout for Groves?
Possibly. If not, it's easy. He easily wins on the scorecards.
Second man to knock out Groves since Hopkins. Second man to knock out. I mean, Groves will be the second man.
Yeah, possibly. He hits that hard, yeah.
Whoa.
Possibly. And he's that quick. Possibly, yeah.
That would be a big statement if he knocks out Glenn Johnson. I know people going to say, yeah, he passed it.
He get a bit of credit.
That's a big statement.
Nah, not really.
Nah? If he knocks out Glenn Johnson, that's not a big statement.
Glenn Johnson on a losing spiral. Not really.
Yeah, but he normally puts in a good performance. Like he gave Carl Froch a good fight. Was it last year?
Yeah, but critics are just they're merciless. They won't give you that one. You're not that guy who's on the slide who just said he retired. It's a fight, yeah, that really and truly, if he's gonna step up, they don't really need to have that fight.
So you won't be shocked if
it's a win-win for Glenn. If he beats him, yeah, good. If he lose, never mind Glenn. It's all in Glenn's favor. It's not really in Thingy's favor, because if he looks bad in the performance, yeah, they're gonna criticize him. If he doesn't knock him out, they're gonna criticize Groves. Groves is there to be criticized because he's picking a guy who just said he retired.
Will you be shocked if Glenn Johnson puts Groves on his back?
Exactly. I'm going to say to you, it's a fight where Groves could come out really bad. If Groves in there, first round knocks out Glenn Johnson, I'd say, woo, it's a big statement, right? That first round knockout against Glenn Johnson. If he keeps it goes longer, then we're seeing it. But either way, I just feel it's a lose-lose for Groves. He might see it as a step up, but if you're going to step up with someone, then why catch them just when they said they retired? I'm not blaming Groves.
I tell you what, yeah? I tell you what. I ain't predicting Groves to win this, and I'm not going to predict Johnson to win it. I'm not. I'm calling this a 50-50.
That's not a 50-50. It's nowhere 50-50.
Okay.
That's your opinion. That's not a 50-50. It's a heavy favourites. Groves for win. Groves win on points. Groves on knockout. Either one of them two is going to happen. There's no draw. And then I don't see no head clash fight stopping that fight. That is a decisive win for Groves, yeah. But it's the criticisms after the fight we can see on Groves' performance, because Groves needs to step up, and he ain't stepped up. He knows Andre Ward and all them mans are there. He don't want to fight them. He sparred with him many times when he before
you mean Darrell.
Darrell. He don't want it. Like he don't want it. Like he's just there. He's having a great time. Just got married. Know what I mean? Glenn Johnson's retired. You know what the situation might be? It might be that situation when Carl the Cat Williams went against David Hay, and he's thought, I'll just go in
Carl
there.
Carl Thompson.
And he just went in there. That could happen. That scenario could happen. Watch out for that. That scenario could happen.
Okay. Jean Pascal, he's coming back. He's fighting some guy named Alexei Kaziameski in Montreal.
His credibility went right down the tubes, mate. Losing to Hopkins, mate. First fight, yeah, it was a draw, and then he let Hopkins talk him back into the rematch. He should have went in another direction, mate.
I don't know.
So
I think he's quite talented with the ambush style, you know.
Listen, mate. Listen, them people who lose against them old people.
Yeah, but
you see it as a joke, bruv. You see it as a joke. His next fight should have been against Chad Dawson.
Yeah, but name one fighter outside Roy Jones who's looked good against Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, well, but that makes everyone look bad. I agree with you. It makes everyone look bad. But what I'm saying is that credibility. If your credibility is on the line now, who you going to get? Some guy that no one's gonna be watching that fight. They just want to see you in there against a guy now. See what happened against a Dawson, against a Cleverly will be a good fight, you know.
Okay.
See?
They've got a little feature on Larry Ekendayu, who had spent a decade waiting for his chance. He seized it when he entered the light middleweight prizefighter tournament, defeating Craig McEwen, a world-level contender at middleweight. And he picked up the tournament and the knockout bonus. The Nigerian stayed in Britain after the 2002 Commonwealth Games. While he boxed as an amateur, he was unable to fight until 2012 because of immigration reasons. That's what I think he said in the interview we had with him, right?
Yeah, that's what he said, definitely, yeah.
And then he got the news to stay, and he's been looking after his daughter. He's had a struggle with her because I think she's ill or something. And Larry deserves his shine, man.
Yeah, definitely. Look, end of the day, Larry's riding a nice little wave. It's been overdue. 10 years in the wilderness. Never knew that if he could stay in the country or not. Visa problems. A lot of things going on. But now, look, everything's working out for him. Things going fine now. He's got a nice payday. He's got money. You know, he's got credit. Everyone knows him. So it's promised that, hey, the future looks bright, man, for him. He has to wear shades, boy. So we'll see what happens from then here on.
Yep, no doubt. And Spencer Fearon is saying that next year, I don't think they're going to go straight away for Frankie Gavin, but he's definitely on the radar.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There you go. You need to. That's it. Step up. He's good. He's good enough to be stepped up right now. He's actually very, very experienced. Even though he's got
I'm not
less
saying
fights.
this because we interviewed him and we're cool with him, but I see him beating Frankie Gavin.
Yeah.
I see some post-fight breakdowns on Frankie Gavin versus Witter, and they was quite complimentary to Frankie. I didn't see no world-class accolades that's been touted on. I didn't see that. Did you see it? We saw the fight together. Did you see that?
Nope. I don't really rate Frankie Gavin highly, but like Eric said, Larry said, he said
Junior Witter, yeah.
To make anyone awkward, but
But to be honest with you, right? Sorry to cut you, Errol, right? I saw Frankie fight Curtis Woodhouse, and he looked terrible in that. That fight looked a draw.
There you go. No, you don't really rate him. I don't really rate him. Getting out of the domestic thing is a struggle for him. You know, if you're looking for guys who are looking to go into world-class honours and European titles, he doesn't look like he's got it there, mate.
Yeah.
He done it right in the amateurs, but the pro game is a different thing, man.
That's right. And Larry's manager, Spencer Fearon, he is predicting more success coming out of his Hard Knock stable. Because he manages, is he Mongolian, Troy? Troy Trezor.
Troy's fighting for a world title.
I like that guy. He's got some character, man. He's dread.
Troy. He's got a nice fan base.
Yeah.
They follow him everywhere. You know, Spencer's doing his thing, man. Spencer's breaking out on the scene. All his fighters are winning. You know, he's aligned himself with. He's cool with both people, Frank Warren, and he's cool with Eddie Hearn, which can always help. So he's doing his thing.
Well, Choi is fighting for the IBO featherweight strap, and here's how I see it. Right, if Danny Green and Tarver and all it. Okay, look. Who am I to argue? Who am I? I have no authority in the boxing game. If you're saying it's a world title belt, then it's a world title belt. So Choi is fighting for the world title tonight, the IBO belt. I mean, like,
what channel is he fighting on?
I'm not sure if there must be a stream for that actually.
He's fighting for an IBO belt.
Yeah, featherweight strap against David.
It's not a world title belt.
Chino York. No, it's not. But if everybody else is calling it a world title belt.
No. It's not a world title belt. It's not even. It's not ranked in the. There's 4 belts here, and I'm WBO struggling right now.
How much of the fighters have we interviewed?
It's a belt. It's a belt. Like it's a belt to spring him somewhere. But in the day, like if they want to call it a world title, but they can delude themselves if they want to, mate.
Check it out.
Mm.
Francis and Pofo,
Yeah.
Ted Bammy, and who else have we interviewed recently?
No, it's not Francis. Francis fought the WBO belt.
No, yeah, but he said that the fights against what's that guy?
Johnny Armour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was for the WBO belt.
He said he
Yeah.
fought 3
But that's
times.
world tight. Yeah, but you see the thing is, like them fighters, yeah, they want to believe it's a world title belt, but you know the real truth, man. You know the truth, man. Like
Yeah.
they can call it what they want to call it. Like you look, if you go in the States, yeah, the WBO belt, all these other belts just pop up and they wanna make you go, you're a world champion, and they try and if you're holding a belt and you're on the famous name, you make that belt popular. Like Joe Kazaki made the WBO belt popular, so did Nigel Benn, Eubank, and Collins, yeah. But really and truly, yeah, they knew they were fringe world champions. That belt was just a fringe one. Now the IBO belt and remember back in the day, WBU belt, they were outside of that. They're outside of that. They're way outside of that. They're more close to like intercontinental belts than world title belts. And then who's the champion at the belt as well? Who's holding that belt? There's even in ranking. What's the guy who actually Troy is going against? Not to be too critical, but who's the guy Troy going against? What's his name?
I don't even know. I'm not even gonna turn the page. I can't remember his name.
Exactly, like, isn't it? So, you know, and who's in that? What division is Troy in?
Troy is in the is it featherweight?
He's in the featherweight, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got the ring thing here, yeah. So Troy in the featherweight division. Now they've got him a title shot. They've got him a title belt. They've got him with fair play. But that belt should be a springboard belt. Like Ricky Hatton holding to that WBU belt for way too long. You know what I mean? Like
definitely.
he holding that belt for ages.
Definitely.
For a very long time, and you know he could have relinquished it and fought higher competition a long time ago, but it was there being criticised. You know, he stepped against Costa Zoo, right timing. So Troy, I'm looking right now, Victor Ardinian, and you got Carl Frampton in the featherweight division, in the junior featherweight division. Yeah, is it junior? Oh, sorry, that's
I tell you what though,
yeah.
you can't go in Australia and say the IBO is a garbage belt. Them man will be throwing Foster's cans at us. And mean.
Listen, they can throw what they want to. They can throw what they want to throw, but you know, IBO belt don't mean nothing.
I agree.
Don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing in the world thing. Everyone knows if you WBC, IBF, WBA, that's it. Pure and simple. That's it. That's always been. Yeah, for the longest, or not too long, but for the longest, a recognized belt. They've given him a title shot, and maybe Troy's gonna just take that, run into the sunset, and say, "I won a belt." But
yeah. See, if we interview Troy, what's he gonna say? I fought for the world title.
I'm not gonna.
Should we start debunking anybody we interview who says it?
If boxers want to delude themselves, then I'm not gonna encourage it. If they believe it's a world title belt, then they can believe it.
Well, it's something
what I mean?
we're gonna have to think about.
I got 100 years of boxing. If I got 100 years of boxing, right, a magazine, yeah, and the WBO belt is not included. It's not even included.
Okay.
It wouldn't be included. They only include the WBC, the IBF, WBA. Their belts. That's it.
So you don't recognize the WBO belt?
They don't recognize WBO.
Do you recognize it?
No.
Okay.
Well, the WBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do. I do recognize it as a world title. Like Nathan Cleverly's got that belt. I do recognize it because certain people hold that belt, right? But the IBO, no, and any of them belts. The only belts I recognize are the British, Commonwealth, European, and the world belts, and that's it.
Okay.
Don't recognize any other belts.
Well, there's a great fight on tomorrow, which I'm going to definitely get some Z's and make sure that I'm fresh to see. And that's Abner Maris versus Moreno. Anselmo Moreno.
You got winning that?
I'm going to go for the boxer, Moreno.
Abner Maris, yeah? He can be a bit of a dirty fighter. He's a golden boy fighter. And boy, some of the decisions I don't know how some of the decisions he got, man. I don't know what to say, man. Against Joseph King Kong Abeko, boy, with his low blow antics. So if things start not going his way, look out for that.
Moreno's got some skills, man. I think he's actually in the top 10 pound for pound rankings in the Ring magazine. No doubt. I'm not really interested in this Alfredo Angulo because before Kirkland fought, I was getting run by people. I was saying, this guy is a very ordinary fighter. There's nothing for you guys to be getting so amped up about. But they was just hyping him up and amping him up. What do you think of it? I don't rate Angulo.
No. Well, Angulo, they rate him, but he's been exposed and they're giving him a tomato can and nothing more in it. Nothing more in it. You know, they're trying to make him into a Margarito. They're looking for another Margarito type of fighter.
Yeah, but he's just nowhere in Margarito's league. Well, then again, Margarito. I mean, I bricks now, man. So
Yeah, sit there. So they're looking to build up another Mexican fighter, but Angulo, he's not the man. He's not the man, mate.
Right, Boxing News are tipping Oval McKenzie to stop Enzo Maccarinelli tomorrow.
I agree.
Vicious knockout.
Vicious knockout. Not messing around. You don't need to mess. You're lucky you get out the third round, mate. If it goes 3 rounds, I'll be surprised, mate. End of the day, Enzo will be trying to outbox him and fiddle him, and Oval will be looking to throw him down, but looking to knock him out. He won't look to mess around with him. If you be patient and then catch him.
Yep.
When Enzo tried to clinch, try to catch him just before a clinch, and he get him. Because the moment you hit him, his guard just drops and you can just weigh down on him. So Enzo will be looking to kind of maul and do a Frankie Gavin type of thing to try and win the fight, man.
That's what he's got to do, you know.
Yeah, but I think he just boxes, Oval just boxes, and just keeps him out of range and just, you know, fiddles. And then when they explode on the open, they'll be fine. But really and truly, I know he's going to be trying to think, I'm just going to go in there and blast this you out, mate. Which is not really a good idea. Just take your time and keep picking at him until you see it open. And he's going to break. He's broken already. He's broken how many times? He's had the most vicious knockdowns in recent times I've seen of any boxer.
He's had some severe knockout losses, man.
I see his head look like his head was going to get took off his head by one fighter, man.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, tomorrow's got some good fights tomorrow, man. Like Maris Moreno, and we've got Marta Rosen and Lara tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, the Enzo thing's on tonight, right?
Is it on tonight? Is that tonight?
Yeah, it's on tonight, man. I think it's on today.
Yeah, it is. It is. What that will be on Box Nation, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Well, with me, I'll definitely check some of that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real, man. That should be very interesting. So we see what happens there, and onto the fights, man. A great fight weekend.
Yeah, like tomorrow we got Marta Rosen and Lara. Mikey Garcia's back in the ring. I mean, so have you got any take on Lara and Marta Rosen?
Nah, none of them my type of fighters, you know.
Okay.
But, you know, none of them really my type. Even Mikey Garcia, to be honest with you, I'm not interested. I'm more interested in see Oval. I just want to see Oval McKenzie. I want to see the Jamaican bad boy. You know what I mean?
You don't want to see Marta Rosen and Lara?
Nah, I'm not interested.
Damn, dude.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. You might just for the boxing purist, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I like them other fighters.
You're a KO fiend, man.
Yeah, I like boxing, yeah. But I like them having a KO at the end of the thing. Like, see when Pernell Whitaker was the champion.
Okay.
When Pernell was pound for pound. It was very hard for me to watch Pernell. Yeah. When Donald Curry was pound for pound, yeah, he could box, but then he had a sting at the end of his punch. You get me? Not like Pernell could. Pernell could knock out guys. He could, but as later on as he moved up, you know, it was less knockouts. But I like guys who can box and do that. But I like them having power.
Okay.
Like Hearns is my all over favorite. Hitman Hearns. That's it. That's my type of fighter.
Well,
like them.
We all love Thomas Hearns, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
There's a good little card tonight with some of the Olympic, American Olympic fighters. We've got Rashi Warren, Errol Spence, Terrell Gorsha, Marcus Brown, Dominic, whatever his name, Breezable. You know what I mean? So that should be interesting. And Gary Russell is headlining. You know what I mean? But he's still.
Oh yeah. True. That's our Heyman card.
Okay, right.
Al Heyman's got all them Olympic
that's right.
Under his umbrella. So
that's right.
You know, he's gonna slowly try to bring them in, which is quite hard. I remember Lou DiBello tried to do that when all the Olympic guys came out the 2000, and he had Jeff Lacey and he had Ricardo Williams and this and that. You know what I mean? All them Olympics, yeah, they get nice little contract, they get this and that, but whether they can live up to their pro potential is another thing. We will see. Time will see.
Did you watch Marco Hook versus that Aslan guy?
Nah, I wasn't interested.
It's supposed to be a controversy. I still haven't watched it.
Chris John's fighting tonight.
Is Chris John fighting?
Yeah, he's fighting tonight.
Okay. Anybody notable?
I don't know. This guy I think this guy might be a Thailand fighter.
Okay. What about Lucien Boutte? Did you see that last week?
Yeah, I saw that.
What was your take on that?
Lucien Boutte needs to think of a new occupation, mate. he needs to think. I don't know, seriously about boxing. You know, I don't think he's got it no more, man.
Curtains closed on that.
Yeah. Undefeated fighters, when they lose in that dramatic fashion, rarely recover. And you know, Carl's just around the corner. I rate him for going in there.
Yeah.
And it's and that, but you know, boxing's a serious sport. He was riding a nice wave. The thing is, yeah, he wanted to fight Andre Ward, and Andre Ward said, "Nah, I don't want to fight you because then you haven't proven. You have to prove yourself." So he put him in there with a hungry calf.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
You know, Andre, thing is, Andre would have did the same thing. Andre would have did the same thing as well.
Yeah.
You see, Andre, actually now you know who it makes Andre Ward undisputed super middleweight champion. Like, because he beat the guy who beat the guy. There's no one else on the horizon for him to fight.
Yep.
I mean, Kelly Pavlik is an interesting fight. That's an interesting fight. That's like,
You
that's
think
a
so?
fan.
You don't think that Ward will dominate?
Yeah, of course. He's the Hopkins got the blue. They're very smart. Virgil Hill. They're very smart. They just see the blueprint of what Hopkins
Virgil
did.
Hunter.
Yeah, Virgil Hunter. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. See the blueprint of what Hopkins did, and just use that and tweak it a bit, and that's how you do. That's what you do. Just beat him in the same fashion.
I think.
I don't think he's got any better since moving to with Garcia under the Garcia camp.
No, I don't think Garcia's that technical a coach, really.
Yeah, Garcia was sending him in there with his head out on a plate, mate.
Yeah. And I fell asleep during the Alan Green fight. I woke up just in time to see the Butte fight. You know what I mean? Alan Green, I don't know, man.
Alan, he's another one, isn't it? He's just there. He's like Yusuf Mack, guy.
No,
They
he's about in that level. He's about that level. There.
Yeah, they ain't got nothing. And they're just a shell. They look good and this and that, but there's nothing inside, really. They look the part, but there's nothing inside.
When Alan Green knocked out Jaden Codrington in about 8 seconds, everybody thought, boy, I mean, this guy is just going to, you know what I mean, dominate the scene. But it just didn't materialize, man.
Definitely not. The first guy to knock him, who was the first guy to knock him out? Wasn't it Glenn Johnson?
Johnson was the first, yeah.
And after that thing, he knocked him out after, man.
Yeah.
Then after that, Ward got him. It's like, this is what I'm trying to say about boxing. If you're not managed right, or whatever, or you're unprotected, you can get caught up. If you remember you get knocked out or rocked, man is going in there for the kill after. So, it's like, the minute it's like a glass, innit? If you shatter a glass, it's never going to be the same again. Don't care what you do to it.
That's
and
right.
Fighters are like that. Like, Butte is like that. Everyone, and fighters know that. And, you know, it doesn't matter if Butte was out a year or whatever. It's your mind. What's happening in your mind? And knowing that you've been knocked out.
I'm catching the flashback.
This week in 1963 sees the blonde bomber from London, Billy Walker, and Johnny Prescott from Birmingham. They're both on the cover as Boxing News previewed their return match. Billy Walker won the first match by stoppage, and in the rematch, Prescott took a surprise points victory. I think Walker outweighed him by a stone, and he was favoured to stop him again. And that's what the Boxing News predicted, but they got that wrong on this occasion. Also in the news was Eddie Cotton, who won the right to be recognised as the world light heavyweight champion, at least in Michigan. That seemed to happen quite a lot, where states seem to be controlling world titles in America. I don't know how that works. Something maybe that has to be looked into. He won a 15 rounds points victory over Henry Hank in Flint on October the 29th. But the Boxing News added the rest of the world will continue to recognize Willie Pastrano as the champ. Only 800 fans turned out at the Flint Arena to witness the coronation of Cotton, beating Pekka Koknen. Bizarrely, in accordance with Michigan rules, there were 90 seconds between the rounds, not 60. Okay.
I am ranked number one. One! That means I'm the best. But this bum been taking the easy matches, fighting other bums. I'm telling you and everybody here, I'll fight him anywhere, anytime.
This morning I just saw a YouTube clip of Gary Russell Jr. KOing somebody in dramatic fashion with a right hook, man. And yeah, nice short, compact shot. He looks like he's got what it takes, but we'll soon see. Anyway, they've got a 60 seconds preview on Gary Russell Jr., so this is how it goes. They ask Gary what age he started boxing. He answers 7 years of age. His favorite all-time fighters are Meldrick Taylor, Sugar Ray Robinson. They were explosive fighters and they had great hand speed and punching ability. Not many guys have both of those attributes. His first boxing memory was when he lost his very first fight as an amateur in Washington, D.C., but he beat the guy in a rematch. His toughest opponent so far as a professional is Guadalupe de Leon, who he beat on points in his 13th pro fight. He showed Gary that not everybody will go down when they're hit hard. He absorbed Gary's punches and kept coming. Gary thanked him after the fight for teaching him a valuable lesson and helping him elevate his game to the next level. He's then asked what his best and worst attributes are as a fighter. His best attribute is his versatility. He is not one-dimensional, and as for his worst attribute, he hasn't found that yet. The best fights he's ever seen are Vincent Petway versus Simon Brown. Petway got knocked down, beat up and hurt. However, he stuck to the basics and managed to knock out Brown in the 6th round. I wonder if that's the fight where Simon Brown got knocked out, literally unconscious, and he was still throwing punches while he was on the canvas, like involuntary. He just spazzed. It's crazy. He's asked the last time he cried. He says he's not one of those people who suppresses his emotions. His brother passed away about 6 years ago to this day. I haven't mourned his passing. I feel more angry and hurt than sad. The last film that Gary saw was Rambo. Then they ask him who he would like to star in a role, portraying him in an autobiography. And he's tripping when he answers this one. He says he's not Afro-American, but I'd have to say Brad Pitt. I love him as an actor, especially in the Mr. and Mrs. Smith film. They ask him what other sportsman he would like to be. He says he likes archery and hunting, although there isn't a particular competitor in those fields who he'd like to be. His dream job, he says that's hard, maybe the owner of Microsoft. Straight in there. What's the best advice you've been given? Keep God first. What websites do you use? I Google everything. I use Facebook too. What's the worst thing you have ever read about yourself? Some writers have criticized the level of my opponents, but I don't think that is my fault. I face Herberto Ruiz, who had 47 wins and 29 knockouts. I was only 18-0 at the time, and I knocked him out in the 1st round. What is the one thing that many people do not know about you? At one point, I went through a stage where I wanted to be a secret agent and work for the CIA. Okay, so with that, we wrap up this boxing news. Peace out.